The Lindbergh kidnapping was a crime that shocked the world. Join us as we delve into the tragic abduction and murder of Charles Lindbergh Jr. On the evening of March 1, 1932, a chilling event unfolded that would grip the nation and become one of the most infamous crimes of the 20th century. 20-month-old Charles Lindbergh Jr., the beloved son of the world-renowned aviator Charles Lindbergh and his wife Anne Morrow Lindbergh, was kidnapped from his family's home in Hopewell, New Jersey. The Lindberghs had chosen this secluded estate for its tranquility and privacy, never imagining it would become the scene of such a harrowing ordeal. That night, the household was quiet. The baby had been put to bed in his nursery, and the family settled into their evening routine. But as the night wore on, an unimaginable horror was discovered. The nursery window was found open, and a homemade ladder was left abandoned outside. The crib was empty, and a ransom note demanding $50,000 was found on the windowsill. The note, crudely written and filled with misspellings, sent chills down the spines of everyone who read it. It was clear that this was no ordinary kidnapping. The news of the abduction spread like wildfire, and soon, the Lindbergh home was swarming with police, reporters, and curious onlookers. The case quickly became a national sensation, capturing the attention of the entire country. The press dubbed it the crime of the century, and every detail of the investigation was scrutinized by the public. The Lindberghs were inundated with offers of help from all corners of the globe, and even the President of the United States, Herbert Hoover, became involved, urging the FBI to assist in the search for the missing child. Despite the massive manhunt and the best efforts of law enforcement, weeks turned into months with no sign of little Charles. The nation held its breath, hoping for a miracle. The Lindberghs were devastated, their once peaceful home now a place of sorrow and fear. The kidnapping of Charles Lindbergh Jr. remains one of the most tragic and mysterious events in American history, a haunting reminder of the fragility of life and the lengths to which people will go for money and notoriety. The kidnappers left a ransom note demanding $50,000. The note was typed on an old vintage typewriter, and the words seemed to echo with a chilling finality. The Lindberghs, a family known for their prominence and wealth, were thrown into a whirlwind of fear and desperation. The ransom note was found on a table in their home, a stark reminder of the peril their young son was in. The demand was clear: $50,000 in exchange for the safe return of their beloved child. The Lindberghs, clinging to hope, quickly gathered the money. Old stacks of cash, meticulously counted and bundled, were prepared for the exchange. The family was willing to do anything to see their son again. Despite the fear and uncertainty, they followed the kidnappers' instructions to the letter, hoping that their compliance would ensure their child's safety. Days turned into weeks, and the anxiety grew unbearable. The Lindberghs waited in agony, each passing moment filled with dread. They held on to the belief that their son would be returned to them, that the ransom would be enough to bring him back. But as time dragged on, their hopes began to wane. 2 months later, their worst fears were realized. The body of their young son was discovered in a wooded area, far from the safety of his home. The discovery was a devastating blow, shattering the Lindberghs' world. The ransom had been paid, but it had not been enough to save their child. The tragedy left an indelible mark on the family, a haunting reminder of the fragility of life and the depths of human cruelty. The case of the Lindbergh kidnapping remains one of the most infamous in history, a story of ransom and tragedy that continues to resonate to this day. The investigation was one of the most extensive in United States history. The Lindbergh kidnapping case, which began in 1932, captivated the nation and the world. Charles Lindbergh, the famous aviator, and his wife Anne Morrow Lindbergh were thrust into the spotlight when their 20-month-old son Charles Jr. was abducted from their home in Hopewell, New Jersey. The crime scene was meticulously examined, and a ransom note demanding $50,000 was found. Despite the efforts of local and federal authorities, the search for the missing child was fraught with challenges and false leads. The case took a tragic turn when the body of the young boy was discovered in May 1932, just a few miles from the Lindbergh home. The nation mourned, and the pressure to find the perpetrator intensified. The investigation spanned over 2 years, involving countless hours of detective work, interviews, and forensic analysis. The media played a significant role, with newspapers and radio broadcasts keeping the public informed and often sensationalizing the details. In 1934, Bruno Richard Hauptmann, a German immigrant and carpenter, was arrested after being linked to the ransom money. The evidence against Hauptmann included marked bills from the ransom, handwriting analysis, and testimony from various witnesses. The trial, held in Flemington, New Jersey, was a media spectacle, drawing crowds and reporters from around the world. The courtroom was packed, and the proceedings were broadcasted live, a rarity for the time. Hauptmann maintained his innocence throughout the trial, but the jury found him guilty of kidnapping and murder. He was sentenced to death and executed in the electric chair in 1936. Despite the conviction, questions about Hauptmann's guilt lingered. Some believed he was part of a larger conspiracy, while others argued that the evidence was circumstantial and insufficient for a conviction. Over the years, new theories and potential suspects have emerged, but the mystery of the Lindbergh kidnapping remains unsolved to this day. The case had a lasting impact on American society and the legal system. It led to the passage of the Lindbergh Law, making kidnapping a federal offense. The investigation techniques and forensic methods used in the case set new standards for law enforcement. The Lindbergh kidnapping is a poignant reminder of the fragility of life and the relentless pursuit of justice, even when answers remain elusive. Hauptmann maintained his innocence until his execution in 1936. The Lindbergh case led to significant changes in federal law, including making kidnapping a federal crime. The Lindbergh kidnapping remains one of America's most heartbreaking and controversial cases, highlighting the intense public scrutiny and legal challenges of the time. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe for more true crime stories. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.